Okay, let's look at adding the site satellite imagery so that we can map features to our topography. This is the downloaded image. I'm just showing you for reference at the start of the video. I'm going to put that off to the side and we'll go back to our 3D view of our topographical surfaces. And right away now we want to actually create that surface by creating it as a texture. So we'll go under Manage to Materials, and we're going to go ahead now and create a new material. And we'll go ahead and rename that right away as a, I'll say satellite image. I'll say sat image. And we'll go to the appearance palette. That'll give us a chance to click on image and import that image, which I've labeled as Site 5. And I'm going to go ahead and import that. And click on it again, and that'll open up an editing palette. And some pre-selected numbers that align this perfectly with the topography are 50, I think that's -50, excuse me, -50 and -50. And then we really blow up the sample size. So we want that to be 750 feet by 1350. Oops. Let me unlock that. And so that's 750 feet. If you type in the number, you'll get just inches. And then 1350 feet. And we don't want to tile this. We're not looking for any repeats. We want just one surface. So I'll click Done. And I'll click OK because we have nothing to apply it to. We haven't asked it to apply it to the surface yet. So I'm going to select the topography surface and then go ahead and add that as a material, that satellite image. Click OK. And obviously we won't see any updates here because we're not rendering it yet. So I'll just go to Realistic. And there we have our site topography. Two more things I want to do in this clip are really just kind of to show you how we're going to identify the roads. And the roads are just actually moving with the terrain, but we do want to kind of like identify them, especially if we decide to get rid of this underlying satellite imagery and then just render the scene as a surface. So one of the techniques we can use, I'll go to the site view of this, and we'll set that again for realistic rendering so we can see these site features. And then we'll go to Massing and Site, and we'll use a tool called a subregion. And a subregion allows us to create areas or surfaces that could be defined as roads, where we're actually not changing the topography of the surface. We're just defining that as having a different color or feature set to it. So I'll select that, and immediately we are presented with the standard editing tools to create a polygon surface. So let me just, I'll just do one little region here quickly. So I'll go ahead and I'll set this on continuous or chain so that when we make this surface, and all I'm doing is going along here, just trying to pick up the edge feature of the road from the satellite image. And the closer you zoom in, the easier the snapping will work for you. And I'm not going to go and do a lot of this right now. That's probably lost under that split of the road. And I'll just kind of like quickly and like pick an idea of what I think that road might be doing. And I'm looking to just complete off this polygon. And if we click complete, we now have a piece of surface. And what's really important to see here is when we look at it in a 3D view, that's now a defined surface. So if we were to say, let's take this and change this texture to, I don't know if I have any grass loaded up here. Let's just make it gray for now, just so you can see the idea here. So I've changed that whole surface to gray, or white as it's appearing, but the road is still a feature set within that terrain. So I could continue this road up, and I'll do that in the next clip. The other feature that I wanted to bring out was the idea of the layout of that the field, soccer field. So let me change this back to a satellite image. And we'll go back to the site view of it because we're right on the top of it here. And we can do the same thing with defining these even more rectilinear or geometric surfaces. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this field area. I'll grab the arc tool and we'll define, I guess, a couple of points here, and then we can pull that off with a radius, and we'll then go to a line tool and I think we've completed off that polygon, and there we have that surface, at least crudely. I'm trying to do this relatively quickly for you. So now those exist as polygon surfaces, and they carry with them all the terrain characteristics that would be mapping to the surface of it. So it actually has a three-dimensional. Let's see if we can see that. I'm going to go to a south elevation, and if we look at this subregion, you'll notice that it's not a flat surface. It's got a three-dimensionality to it. So that's the idea, is that it's matching exactly with the terrain surface. So in the next clip, we'll pick up on importing a building and sitting it onto a pad so we can get an idea of how we're going to manipulate our buildings on an exact site.